Here we go, guys. We're going to push this stuff out. We're going to have too much fun tonight. I, it's, this is a prequel to Pat Talk, so I'm incredibly excited. Chef C will join us just about 7 o'clock. That's about 30 minutes out. Haven't seen y'all all week long. Of course, I'm taking it easy, so if I look rested, I have been resting to deaths. There's always something crazy going on. This ever since mandated medicine, lots of people have been dying everywhere. Dying, 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 and nobody seems to know why. Yeah, I was lied to. And I said, I know I use improper English. I said, y'all was lied to. And y'all was. Y'all was lied to. We were lied to. We were lied to. We were lied to. We were lied to. We're being lied to. 24/7, we're being lied to. I can bring this down some. Uh huh. Oh, I didn't know I could zoom a little bit. I don't zoom too much. You can see the hair on my nose. Okay. This has been a fascinating week. In fact, this first week of February, this is going to be the last really calm week. It's going to be crazy from next week onward. It's going to be crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier every week from here on out, for the simple fact that the election thing is heading. Lots of things unraveling. People are reacting to crime. This week, something kind of crazy happened. It's called the Bowser Pinto Bill. So they have this really nasty, fascistic law they're working on that's designed to brutalize black DC. It's always a thing for crime. They're not doing anything about the illegals. No jobs for the people that are from here. Reduced benefits, all of that. They're going to start passing very harsh laws and policies across the country targeted at black people, done heavily by black Democrat mayors, the kind of people you vote for, the kind of people you swear are better. I'm not trying to tell you that the Republicans are great, because the Republicans are not great. The Republicans are politicians too. But you expect nothing from them. And you don't get anything. You expect and are promised much by Democrats, and they don't do anything. And what they promise you will help you kill babies. Yep, we need boys and women's sports. We need men and women's restrooms. You need to get your things cut off. We need open borders. We need to reallocate the social safety net benefits to people in the country unlawfully. Yeah, isn't that a great package for you? And that's great. A lot of, I think that this is the last really calm week. And I mean that. We're going to have a very, 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 very tough, tough 2024. Increasingly, one February, the coldest month in the year for many places. So things are going to be kind of chilly. But once February is half over, it just means it's 2 weeks to March. Within the second week of March, you have Super Tuesday. It's definitive who's going to be running in pretty much both parties. Nookie Haley, by the 20th of February, she will be. Do you really think she can beat Trump in South Carolina? She can't. She's 30, 35 points behind. But the more important news, which is why we want to call today's show uh, Mission Impossible, Black Female Accountability, is what no one's going to try to explain to you, and I'm going to, is that it's no surprise to me that the white woman whose son killed those children up in Michigan, I think 4 kids got shot to death by a gun she bought, that she got 10 years. They're holding the parent accountable. What I want to make clear to you is that if they'll lock a white woman up for what her child has done for 10 years, get ready to see a mass incarceration of black mothers. The sorry ass, I don't need no man, black mothers, you're about to see these hoes get bounced down to prison. How you doing, Sister Devin? White man to you. You're going to see people. Oh, thank you, Jarrell. And hi, Mark. Good evening. You're going to see a lot of women sent to prison. Black women. They're building new jails. They're being built for you, black women. They're building jails. And it happened under Biden. You guys voted for him. 94, 96%. You voted for Joe Biden. And under the Joe Biden administration, which is really run by Obama apparatchiks, someone that you gave 97% of your ballots to, they are now beginning to create the laws across the country. And they're creating the precedent to lock up black women pretty much the same way that black men were locked up. No one put that news analysis in. Nobody's telling you black women. I know black men ain't nothing. Black men ain't this. Black men, black. Okay. You're no longer needed. You're no longer needed. And as a black man, I can tell you what it's like to not be needed in the economy, to even have black men and even more often black women within hiring and employment situations exclude you. You're now about to see black women increasingly be locked up. It's a slippery slope, but it's there. A lot of folks celebrated the fat, morbid-looking mother of this boy that killed the people in Michigan as, yay, wow, hold the parent accountable. And you seem to forget that the people in the White House, Kamala Harris being in the most populous state in the union, was responsible for locking up more black people than any politician in the country. I repeat, Kamala Harris is responsible for having more black people locked up than any person that's been on her level in the country. There's never been a person that was attorney general, that was vice president, that locked up so many black people. And the only person that's had more black people locked up than Kamala Harris is Joe Biden. It's a mass incarceration ticket that you guys voted for. You let this fake, whorish, non American, non black Hindu calling themselves a Christian, whose biggest thing they're doing now is trying to encourage you to kill babies, and you call yourself a Christian. I've already read Leviticus 18 and 19, and on Sabbath, I will be doing a sermon. I'm trying to think of which one because I'm still dealing with black men of whether I'm going to talk about, well, we did loose stick sink ships. The next one, yeah, the next one I want to do is if your baby you destroy, you're a gay decoy. And to show that there's a link between the LGBTQ, sodomite, gay, gender dysphoria stuff and baby killing. And to say to black men, when you let your children get killed because you dodged the bullet, you don't have to be a father. You ducked it, so you think you may have ducked it in the physical, you may have ducked it in terms of having that baby murdered and not doing anything. Well, that's on her. But the human sacrifice of that baby, which is what it was, feeds the demonic spirit that fuels the ecology of sexual degeneracy, in particular same sex confusion. So, if you wonder why so many people are confused in our community, you've provided the dead children, your aborted babies, their spirits, their blood, their flesh has fueled degeneracy and social decline. And so all the folks who think they got over, like a brother from New Jersey who got angry because I felt abortion is like awful, just terrible. Well, I had six. And it's almost like he was proud. He had six of his children destroyed. Six. Well, I wasn't ready. If you weren't ready, shouldn't have stuck nothing in anybody. So we're going to be talking about male irresponsibility on Sabbath. I'll put it up. It'll be put up Sabbath by 5, 6 o'clock. I shouldn't take that long. I can just do one topic, and I'm going to put it directly to black men that having these babies killed, thinking, pressuring her, hey, man, how I know? How I know what you do? How I know? I mean, that could be anybody. That could be Santa Claus kid. I don't think you just give him cookies and milk, right? And so your baby gets slaughtered. And whew, man, I was just, my dick was a little thirsty. And then act like you don't know the lady. Well, I know you've been with other people other than me. I know you've been with other people than me because, I mean, your bed don't creak when we was on it. It was like I could tell. Right. Okay. That's one side. We'll get to the men later, but today, ladies first. So I just want to again repeat for all of you, good evening to everybody. This is my birthday eve. Uh so I may not do a Wasi speak tomorrow. I don't think I should. I should just chill tomorrow. As I've been chilling all this week. But we're gonna come back and be talking about demons and baby killing and mass immorality that's overtaking our community, and that the black community can't say, oh, all of this is white people. I look forward maybe by June, July, I can talk about racism. I can't wait. That's so easy. It's so easy to point fingers at another community. That's the easy part. Oh man, I can do race. That's I'm doing these topics because they're hard, because nobody wants to deal with them. So I want to again say to everybody, the solution to everything is God, conversion, transformation. The biggest problem in the black community is we've become a godless. Um, well, here's right. What's wrong with an individual choose to be you know, Jamil Ibrahim, if you're a troll, just sit down and think about what you asked. Um, an individual that chooses to be irresponsible um, hurts other people. So what you're saying, Jamil, uh, and that's the very mindset that they're building prisons. So the people in the supermax prisons that get abused and raped and hurt and so forth, that's what happens. Individual decision, when people talk about this individual choice, what does that really mean? The fact that you framed it, the fact that if you know it's not right, why do we even deal with it? Who said it was an individual decision? Where do people get their thought process from? Oh no, these are massive numbers. Millions and millions of abortions are massive numbers. If blacks are committing 50% of the murders in this country, and we are only, I mean, stretch it. Let's make us 20% of the population. I, I could literally see that they lie about how many of us there are here. Even if we're 20% of the population, but we're committing 50% of the murders, it's too high. It's too many. The suicides are too high. They're too many. The syphilis is too high. It's too many. The hunger, the poverty, things that we should be working on, it's too many. Too much too much, many, much too many. So, let me see. I think I'm going to have Chef in about 8 minutes. I just need folks to continue. So, individual choice um, is wrong. If an individual choice infringes on other people, and that's often what it is. If I want a gun and I just want to shoot it in the air because it's my individual choice and it's my gun, but what about if that bullet hits somebody who's somewhere else who doesn't care if you had a gun, you fired it, but they don't want to get hit by your bullets? We can't live in a society where people do whatever they want. In fact, that's sort of why Americans in general and black people in particular, as a hated out group that's an in group, we're in and out at the same time. We're in trouble. No, people do get rewarded for living moral. The reward for being moral. No, I'm a Christian, so I believe in Jesus Christ. And for people that are Muslim, we're not going to agree on a range of things. So, I don't sit up talking about other religions, but I don't tell you who your God is. You can't tell me who mine is. If that's a problem, same way I don't go to any Islamic thing and start talking to people about my religious beliefs. I have enough respect that people have a right to believe in what they want to. As for me, I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe the Bible is the right book. And it is the only true path to salvation. Person has a problem with that. That's cool. If you're here and say, I'm very quick to do one thing, I won't go back and forth with anybody. So I know what I believe. And as for a Muslim, you want to believe in that, that's what you believe. But the ultimate thing I say to every Muslim, if in fact Jesus is a messenger of Islam, how come there's no reference to Islam in the Bible? And the only thing that comes close to Islam in the Bible, Muslim, since you want to bring this up, is Baal. Al, Allah, and Al, same root. There was an Allah prior to Muhammad, says Muhammad. And the Quraysh prayed to the moon god. The moon god and the moon represents Islam. You know it and I know it. It's interesting. The moon represented Baal. So he's not a messenger. And Allah is not Jesus's God. Allah is a different God. Yahweh, Jehovah, is a God of Jesus Christ. So if Jesus Christ wasn't a person that followed Allah, he can't be his messenger. We're talking about two different gods. You and I don't serve the same God. That's why Muslims like you murder and persecute and butcher Hausa Christians in northern Nigeria I'm trying to help. For all this, we got all this stuff in common. No, you don't. You guys murder, you kill, you butcher, and you say all this stuff. Kidnap people, force people to be. If you truly got a religion that people want, you don't have to make anybody do anything. So just by the fact that someone gets forced, that you kidnap people, and you take people against their will and then threaten people, put people under Sharia when you say that they have a different religion, but make them fall under your religious law, and you come up in here like this, I have no problem blocking and excluding people from this platform. There's Islamic stuff everywhere you want to go. Go wherever you want to go. I would recommend any Muslim. There's a wonderful website where you can have these discussions. It's called Somali Christians. These are Muslims who quit being Muslims, who know this Islamic game backwards and forwards. I'm a Christian. I don't have to study or understand what you're on or what you're about. And I'm not going to have, Islam does not encourage good manners for unbelievers. You can't possibly know the history of Islam and its expansion and say good manners. Not in India, not how they slaughtered people there. That's not so. There are a lot of places that went in and just killed people, burnt up everything. That's not good manners. Islam, a religion of justice? How so? 1,400 years of enslaving people who are black? Muhammad referring to black people as raisin heads? I mean, you don't even know the religion that you're in. You don't know the faith that you're in. And so, I don't know, you're probably Pakistani. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you find the answers by muting you. There you go. So you can listen, but I don't push my religion on other people. I'm not interested in having somebody's religion pushed on me. I'm Christian, proud of it. I never go into Islamic spaces and lecture Muslims about what they should or shouldn't believe. If you want to go with that, if you think messing with the 6-year-old is the perfect man, if that's perfect for you, okay, just don't you touch my damn 6-year-old. See how many manners you learn from that. We're not going to play that. I'm not going to be subject to anybody's foolishness. You can't tell me a woman has to be covered head to toe to keep me from being completely out of self-control in terms of my passions and then call that holy. That's your issue. That's your concern. Okay, let us be real about that. So, in countries all over the world where people get options, if people choose to be Muslims, that's on them. But you can't make anybody believe anything or bully people and come with this aggressive type thing and think nobody's going to say something back to that. So we've had religious wars for reasons, and one of them is people trying to make other people see things the way that they want them to. If I'm understanding things properly, mm, ISIS and these other people that blow up religious statues and put jizya on people, that's a religious tax that Muslims put on people, that you have to pay tax. If you're not a Muslim, you have to be taxed for your religious belief. That's justice. In other words, if you don't pay the tax, we're coming to get you. My God, that doesn't sound respectful. That doesn't sound like justice. It sounds like tyranny. Do what I say or else. Sounds very welcoming. It sounds like I better do it or you're going to hurt me. Don't sound like love to me. Sounds like domination. And so, sure you do. They have jizya. They had it in Syria. They had it in Iraq. When they took over, people forced to do it. They had it all over. It is such a word. Stop lying. There's a demonic lying spirit and many people that are Muslim that spend so much time lying. I mean, if you really have the best religion, people will come running to you. If you don't have a great religion, you have to haggle with other people to quit what they've got. Show me something. Show me an abolitionist movement that's fought for the freedom of black people. If you are a black person and you're Muslim, you want to explain to me why they had slavery in Saudi Arabia up until the 1960s. If you want to tell me something, why is there slavery in Nigeria right now for Christians by Muslims? Why? If that were white people, Christians doing it to black people, white people call themselves Christians, everybody would be screaming, and they should. What about when the blacks who were Muslims were mass killed in Mecca doing their Hajj? How they laughed at the dead people there. Had that happened in Jerusalem to black Christians and they could put that on Jews, oh my God, the whole world. Okay, well, someone said there's slavery in Saudi Arabia. Of course, but I'm talking about officially. Slavery was ended in 1962 in Saudi Arabia. Slavery was officially ended for blacks in Mauritania in 1989. And that's like the first time. It's not the first time. They did in the 60s and they keep doing it. You've got slavery going on in Libya right now. Once the extreme Islamic folks took over Libya, black slavery exploded. There's no comment. I've never seen any black Muslim really stand strong about racism and Islam. You can get a black Christian to say something about racism and Christianity here, now, and forever. No, but the prophet sticking his tongue in a boy's mouth is gay. That I'd say to you. I'm going to check you out too. Bye. Look at this, folks. You know what? You got a weak faith. And we're going to talk about that since he brought it up. Let me help him. Let me bring you up here. Let me hide him on the channel. I don't need him. Do you know where's one of the main places that people go to have this so-called gay experience? It's called a Turkish bath. Where's Turkey? What's the dominant religion of Turkey? I'm just saying. Let's also talk something else about Middle East, since someone brought this up and they want to go here. Let us be fundamentally honest. And it happens throughout the Islamic world. Let us be honest. Let us be honest. When you do the FGM, where they mutilate the woman's clitoris when she's young, and they stitch up and sew up the woman's vagina to keep her from having intercourse until she's married, which is incredible practice. But people do what they're going to do. Some people are very proud of that. Yeah, Roman bathhouse, but you kept it going. Kept it going. It kept it going. You can't. Istanbul to this day is an epicenter for prostitution. Beirut is an epicenter. Baghdad is an epicenter. There are a whole bunch of places. So for someone to start talking about sex and try to point fingers and all, oh my God, oh my God, it's simply not a good thing to do. Um, you didn't even really start getting a crackdown on certain sorts of behavior until the European colonization took place. A lot of folks, they're doing this thing. It's called triumphalism. My religion's better than yours. I point out something bad that goes on amongst people in your religious group, and so it makes my God better. And in reality, if you're looking to people, and if people's the evidence of what you believe in, you're in the wrong place. Let's look at God. And yet the Romans were deviants. Sure they were. Nobody's here. And it's interesting. What does he talk to me about Romans about? Why? I mean, so whoever you are, you don't know anything about where I'm coming from, and I don't care. But if people ask stupid questions, I'm going to put them out. So just people need to just be fundamentally real. Yep, the churches, you don't hear me praising these churches, but a church isn't a building. It's very different from a masjid. A masjid is a masjid. A church is more like the word ulama. It's a gathering of people that are believers. That's the root. So the corruption within the people who call themselves Christians that are obsessed with the building, that has nothing to do with whether you know God or not. God is supposed to be in your heart, not inside of a human building, and not a construct. God exists in your soul, in your mind. That's what that's about. So that's quite fascinating. So I don't really worry about it. These are, I got a lot of Pakistanis on here, but that's okay. I will filter them out. I don't fear them. And so that's okay. We'll just keep filtering you out. We're going to keep doing what we do. I'm waiting for Chef C. And let me see. A lot of these people, that's okay. They can keep going. We're not worried about them. And that's kind of nice. If it's bothering somebody, grow up. Oh, look at this. I love this. Uh, it's projection. So let's just talk about, let me upset these people a little bit more. Do you know what happens for all these people asking these questions in the Middle East and Islamic countries? I'm going to just go here. Um, I had a Muslim friend who was saying to me, the biggest problem that I find is that there's no virginity in the West. And I said to him, what do you mean, no virginity in the West? Well, they're just, everybody's a whore in the Western countries. We have virginity in Islamic countries. And I says, well, virginity, how? Are you saying, you mean penetration in the vagina? Or are you going to be honest with me that you Islamic guys and other people get around these restrictions by having lots of anal sex with men and women until you get married? Oh, yes, you do. And so this obsession with gayness and all that, I mean, well, it goes with the culture. If you lock women up from males from long periods of time when they're young. I'm not saying people should be involved before they're married. Things happen. So that's how that goes. That's how that goes. So let's see him anxious. We'll see you. We'll see you guys later. And look it up, research. I think I got Chef C here. He's here just a little behind. Hey, Brother Michael, how is everybody? And so yeah, what am I saying is that the Bible says all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. That's everybody everywhere. So if someone wants to talk about something in America or any place else, and I'm certain you got confusion here, you got that there. So I absolutely done. Here comes my guy. I will be seeing you guys a little later. There you go. We're about to go live here.
Him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him. It was the chef unknown. What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? What is happening? What is happening with everybody? We are back at it again, ladies and gentlemen. This is On Their Next Podcast, joining the Angry Black Man's Book Club Hat Talk number 11 with my brother, DrRandyShort, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, today's program is brought to you by Bloodline Films, From the Soil, Black American docu-series where we travel all around the country, waking up the culture, cuisine, and of course the Black American grassroots advocates in pursuit of reparative justice. And today's meal, as usual, is going to be cooked up out of the community kitchen, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Pat Talk, family. It is Pat Talk number 11. I want the fellas to tap in. We got my brother, DrRandyShort, as usual, our gracious host, who is already here bright and early, and I'm sure he got y'all nice and warmed up. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a good broadcast, but we're talking about the Mission Impossible. Black American Woman Accountability. Who is raising humans? That's really the question. Who raised humans? And we get into it, ladies and gentlemen, right after these commercials. On the next podcast, tapping in as usual with Angry Black Man's Book Club. My brother, DrRandyShort. Pat Talk number 11. We'll be right back after these commercials. I've been all over the world. I've noticed this about Black Americans, and I'll stop here. We have more people trying to turn us around than I've seen for any other group anywhere in the world, relative to what our situation is. That you got teachers, you got people that will just do something. If they find out you're legit, just help you because they want to see Black folks make it. We do have this. This is lacking in other places, I can assure you. But you know what? Our desire to save people cannot be greater than people's desire to be saved and to help. So the people that do not want it, let them go. Jesus said, "Let the dead bury the dead." I sure get it nowadays. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and it's Pat Talk time today. You know how we do every Thursday. We give it to you the way you need it. Pause. And you know, shout out to Sister Quiet Scales. Shout out to everybody that's tapping in. Shout out to all new subscribers on our various platforms. But before I get too far, our gracious host, brother Dr. Randy Short. You got the floor, sir.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you, Chef, for joining us. I don't know. Some of our very, 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 I don't know, strange followers in foreign parts are interested in having a religious discussion. I'm going to have to get some religious experts. We're here to talk about our issues. I don't mind talking about religion when I feel like talking about religion. But man, we had some people on here, and brother, you're from Jersey. Have you ever encountered people that are Muslim that live in a reality that isn't real, where they see everybody else has faults except for them? They've got it perfect, okay? If I told you today was a funeral for one of my cousins that was Muslim, and I was talking to this woman, I think you know her. She was a very prominent black woman, Muslim journalist in New Jersey. And I'm not remembering her name, but I know you know who I'm talking about because she'd be on TV all the time. Rahim. Rahim is the last name. I'm forgetting her first name. And I had no idea that my uncle, Achman, had been interested in her being his second wife to be the third wheel in his marriage to my aunt. Okay, see what I'm saying? They were up in Jersey rolling like that with multiple wives and all. But you know, it's completely illegal in America. I'm not pointing my hands at anybody. I'm not saying, I actually think there's got to be something that can be done, but you know, you're not supposed to have two wives in America. You know, a lot of Muslims have as many wives as they feel like having. Uh, you know that's true. You're in Jersey. You know these people have multiple wives that do what they want to do. But yet, yet you'll tell me that the Muslim community is the most law-abiding. Well, but if the law of the land says just one wife, one man, you've got three, four, five, six, seven wives, one man, right? And social services is taking care of your children, and yet you're an upright, upstanding man, right? And you'll criticize the man that's married to one woman that's struggling, or actually is behind his child support with this one ex-wife or whatever, and yet the state and everybody's taking care of you, providing housing for you, stamps, everything for you, and you've got a multiplicity of names. Am I lying, Chef, about people of like, they're people I'm related to. I didn't know who they were because I was told one name, and then it's not the name I've been told all these years. So there's an Islamic name, there's the original name, there's an African name. I'm not saying what people can or cannot do, but I'm like, you're no more law abiding than the other people. In fact, I'm not trying to say this for everybody, but in many ways, the Islamic faith is, for many people, it is a jailhouse faith. I'm not saying that's how it is, but that's how a lot of people come to Islam, is that they're mass incarcerated. And there's some deal. If you don't let people, if you don't want to get raped, if you're Muslim, it's asshole insurance. Whereas I don't want anyone to do anything to me, so I can understand the need to want to be protected. And to me, that's sheer pragmatism. I get it. But on the other hand, um, that's very different from when somebody has some understanding of a faith and they come in and they're not in a place where essentially it's join or get raped. That's a hell of a motivating factor for me to join a religion. I'm not even putting the religion down. I'm only saying that it's interesting. Seems as if I had numbers in prison and I was really about what's good and what's right, I would say no to rape in prison across the board. You don't have to be in the same group as me, and I won't want anyone getting raped. Do you get where I'm coming from? But you got to join us to get the warranty on your asshole if you're in lockup. You get me? Things like this that I say, this is very interesting. By the way, I didn't blame anybody for raping anyone because people are very touchy about this religion thing. That they will hear and ascribe that you've attacked someone, or that I didn't say anything about anyone's belief. I only said how that belief is applied. The other thing I would say is that if anyone wants to, someone brought up this thing about sexuality and all, and I'm thinking there's no way if you live in a country like Egypt. Remember they had the big protests, the
Right.
Arab Spring. Do you know one of the reasons they had the Arab Spring that they don't advertise too much? That was the men. The economy is so bad in Egypt and in other places until the men can't get married, can't, can't afford to, can't start their lives. Okay, people think it's just happening in America. It happens in the Middle East. So, what do you think people do once of an age where you have a sexual appetite or need? You're going to have sex, don't you? See, they'd have you think throughout the Middle East, where there's Islam, there is no promiscuity. Just everybody's living decently. Everyone, not one person's having sex outside of marriage. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, right? And my friend, you really mean to tell me out of say 400 million Arabs, people under the very strict, that everybody's waiting until they got married to get some sex? Everybody married is only sleeping with the person that they're married to. Do you really believe that? Do you, brother? Or do you think that somebody dips? Um, do you think people dip because things like mutas? A lot of people, when we get sold this Islam, and I studied Islam a little bit, I found it fascinating. What I learned in terms of from serious Islamic historians and all sounded pretty interesting as a religion. But if you ever get into some of the hadith and the teachings and the explanations and some of that stuff is as far out as it goes. I'll give you a simple example. If I'm horny, I just really need to get me some sex. I don't All I need to do is have a muta. A muta is basically a temporary marriage. I need some sex real bad, don't want to rape anybody, don't want to go to a prostitute. So I go, I get an imam, and I have a marriage. Me and this woman screw until my nuts fall off. I'm like, phew, like putting dry ice on your balls. And then you guys get divorced, and hey, no fornication, no adultery. It's perfectly okay. And so imagine this, sir. You could have 100 mutas in your lifetime, and that would be perfectly within the rules. That's not prostitution. That's absolutely uh, uh, an okay way to go about things. Now, to me, to have this kind of situation, you want to tell me about Western society? It seems as if you're just doing it in a different way. It goes back to what the Bible says: the whole world lies in wickedness. So there's wickedness in the Middle East, there's wickedness in North America, there's wickedness in Europe, there's wickedness in Asia, Africa. People do what they want to do. And going back to Egypt, it's no big secret. Anybody can go into Google, go into your smartphone, and you can look up Morocco, Marrakesh. What happens? I mean, they've got strict laws against this behavior, but people go to various places: Istanbul, Alexandria in Egypt, Beirut. Oh, yes, they do. For that matter, Dubai. People go to certain places to get their rocks off. You just can't flaunt it. You have to respect culture, but you can do what you feel like doing. And as for the people who are so strict, so that says a whole lot of people in Egypt and other places that couldn't get married, that really wanted to. I'm not picking on them. You had to do substitutes, and sometimes those substitutes are not women. The Bashi boys of Afghanistan, the little boys that they screw, this is real. And they pluck all the hair out the boys' faces and screw them and sometimes kill them when they're done. This was going on, and this is documented. You could just look Baji boys up, and that's Islam. These strict girls can't go to school. Everybody's covered head to toe, and they still screw little boys in the behind. Now, and they claim it's Islam. I'm not a Muslim, so I don't know. But you mean all these guys in the room celebrating the little boy and they're going to run a train on him? And that's, and there's always a thing, it's not pure Islam. It's interesting. A person who's a Christian is held accountable for what other people do in other countries. The Crusades. Hell, I wasn't living. What about right now? Right? So for the people that are Muslim, if y'all want to be missionaries and y'all suck at missionizing, except for when you're trying to hurt someone, bully someone, or you go to someone that's really desperate. And yes, I know really fine people who call themselves Muslims. Really, really fine people that call themselves Muslims. I'm a Christian. And we start talking about women and rights and so forth. Whew, God. But chef, yeah, so these people in here writing all this stuff and doing all these kinds of things. And I just answered them. He asked me, was I gay? I says, I'm not. But why the prophet have a little boy's tongue in his mouth? He's a holy man. Seem like, I mean, if he's holy, why are you worried about me? I mean, why are you worried about me if I don't want to have sex with 6 year olds? Why are you worried about me if I wouldn't kill a man in front of his wife and then take the wife as a sex slave? Why why would I want to make that a life, or why would I call that the perfect life? Um Robbing and stealing, says the Quran, not me. I'm nobody. The Bible says thou shalt not steal. In the Islamic tradition, if you steal and you rob and you kill people in order to take power in Mecca, you're the holiest person that ever lived. And that's what they did. I mean, they took power. Okay. And they fought wars and they robbed people. If it's not yours, you robbed. I don't care what you call yourself. So, last but not least, you have a religious book that you compose, but the word for you is umi, which means you're illiterate. How can a person that's illiterate write? How can an illiterate person at a time where Arabic wasn't even really a written language write a book? Who wrote it? How do you know they wrote it? And why are the earliest Qurans and all that you find go back to about 800, 900 AD, hundreds of years after the prophet, peace be upon him, because I don't want to make you mad, is gone. You want to tell me it's a religion of peace? All right. But why did so many of the caliphs, with the exception of Abu Bakr, get murdered by fellow Muslims? So they had like four caliphs, 3 of them were assassinated in this wonderful religion of love and peace. Y'all offed your own guys at the very beginning, not 100 years into it. Okay, you can talk about the Catholic Church and they hijacked Christianity, and you did have fighting and killing hundreds of years after Christ. It wasn't like it wasn't 5 years, 10 years after Muhammad, y'all killing each other. So for the love and the peace, just look at your history, all the people, and I didn't even talk about Ali and the whole Shia thing and how folks fight and kill over Shiism, Karbala, all of this stuff to now Ali so with the religion of peace and all this other stuff, anybody reading the straight history would have serious questions. And I'm not telling you what you can or cannot believe. I'm not even saying it ain't true. I'm only saying that if I get arrested by the police, if my story doesn't line up, people assume I'm lying or I'm guilty. If the story doesn't line up to a law enforcement person, to a lawyer, to the scientific method, to any method, people assume maybe the story is partially true, or maybe the story is not fully true, or maybe the story is not true at all, because it's very, very difficult to make everything line up. So if there, as I said to the gentleman, I'll stop here. In the Bible, there is a moon god, and there are many moon gods that they make reference to in the Bible. The moon god is to be rejected. The moon god is a satanic manifestation that goes against the one true supreme God. Have you ever considered what the symbol of Islam is? Isn't it a moon? No, don't don't blame me. You're saying it's the same God, same religion. Well, why does one say don't regard moons or heavenly bodies, which would include stars, and yet this faith that says it's the same and it supersedes Christianity? Jesus Christ was a messenger, a prophet of Allah. Why would they be teaching against moons and stars? And Islam is represented by a moon and a star. Just asking. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second.
Most definitely, brother Dr. Short. My Negro. I see the Negro is in the building right now, sir. Brother Negro, are you there, sir? The Negro, are you there? Alrighty, the Negro's not there for now. Ladies and gentlemen, today's question and subject matter for today. Peace to Sister DW, back in the building. Peace to Sister DW, y'all. Today's question, family, we're asking a question. Black woman accountability, is it a mission impossible? Women, we got to make it make sense right now. If women are the progenitors of culture, the teachers of culture, then are they failing on the job? Have they failed on the job? And it's almost, listen, given that a lot of these psychopaths, maniacs, are coming from single family households, okay, are they then void of any responsibility for creating the maniacs that supposedly drive this country crazy? I'm just asking a question. Let me see what's happening in this chat. I'm just asking a question, y'all. Are women void of accountability? Black American women void of accountability, ladies and gentlemen. Women teach the culture, men enforce it. So when you have when you have a woman who isn't secure or even confident or have the tools in that space to be the progenitor, the gatekeeper of the culture, right? Then what do you have? You have a chaotic environment pushed off of nothing but emotional materialism stuff. I'm just saying, what are we looking at here? We got we got a chick that's popping her ass on a in a hospital. You got chicks now that are pregnant on the stage is popping their coochie. We gotta make it make sense, y'all. We got chicks on the stage popping that cooch while they're pregnant. Is that the image we want? Look at these ladies that we have in this thumbnail here. All right. You got your girl Nimrata over there. Does she reflect black women? No. I'm going to make sure I make that differentiation right now. Kamala Harris. Does she have more semen to supply a sperm bank? Then we're talking about Fannie Hay. It ain't tricking if you got it. Fannie Willis. It ain't tricking if you got it, brother DrRandyShort.
Well, why not say it takes a licking and keeps on tricking?
You're back, brother. I didn't hear you. Go ahead.
What about saying she takes a licking and keeps on tricking?
Listen, brother Short, we asking the question today. Black woman accountability.
Well, there's no such thing. Feminism, basically, there's no such thing as female accountability. Everything is empowerment. Everything is woman goddess. Everything is woman's intuition. And it's women's time. And any rule that you set down because it's you and it came from you, it's patriarchy. Anything you think, everything you say, because you're a man, it's sexist, it's repressive against women. And therefore, men should just shut up and let women do whatever they want. That's the era. Men's time is over. It's now women's time. And men should just let women have their way. That's what, and whatever that is. And pay for it, shut the hell up. Empty your wallet and pleasure us and get out of our way when you're done. Which remarkably sounds like what they call male sexism. So basically, it's our turn as women to act on the worst of what we understood men used to do, or men still do. I mean, some men, I guess. But no, they're not accountable. And this is what I was saying before you came on. That woman that got the 10-year sentence for her son shooting all of those people at the school in Michigan. The black woman's reign of impunity, just in the black community, is about to be phased out by the mass prison construction project across the country. They're building new prisons. They're not building them for the new illegals. They're building those prisons for us. And they've got men in jail. They've got one and 3 or 4 black men under supervision of the court. They got us. We're done. They're out to get you. You're gonna get it. Now, if the little bastards that you had, they taught you don't need a man. If your son goes out and shoots someone, they'll put your ass in jail. The precedent's been established. If they'll throw a white woman in jail for it, now they'll throw black women in jail for 2 or 3 times as long. I'm not celebrating. I'm just saying this is what's coming, and I'll tell you, they have every reason to be incentivized to do it if the Republicans come in, and they might, because it seems as if the black women were part of the project to wreck what they call democracy, which we've never had. Then they're not going to want to do any policies that help people that vote against them no matter what. Because eventually the truth is going to come out that the election was stolen. And they're going to look and say, who were the main people that stole or helped cover up the steal? And let me share something with you. Everybody hates to come down on their own. Same way we black people would rather point our finger at white people for our problems are than look at ourselves. Then all these other groups are going to form a consensus because they don't want to say, well, we did it too or whatever. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to point their finger and say, you know, it's those black women. I'm just telling you, as a black man, don't you know what that means, Chef? If something bad happens, everyone's pointing. Everyone knows it's not you, but they don't want to come down on each other so that it's easier to blame the black man that's around for it. They're now going to begin to give black women real black treatment. They modified it. There's a project to break up the black family. I want to give you guys a tambourine shake. You guys, you've been A students and helping to wreck your own community for white supremacy. And now they're going to reward you with mass incarceration like black men. That's how it works.
Short.
That's what's coming.
Short.
And we black men didn't do it. We're not responsible.
I tell you what, Brother Short, before you go too far, okay, you know it is tradition, sir. This is Pat Talk.
Oh, yes, sir.
We have
got my oil.
Yeah, you go, sir. Yes, sir. Libations.
Oh, yes, we got to do our cross. Did y'all do your cross? I'm going to show you how to do it. Now watch. You come down.
Hey, hold on, Brother Short. Let me zoom. Yeah, Brother Engagement. What's happening?
Hey, Brother Chef. Hey, how's it going, Dr. Short? I got some data to support what you're talking about from the Women Incarceration Project.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking specifically about the black women numbers rising, and also is double when it comes to black and white. Black women are double that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to send it to you.
Brother Negro, do me a favor, though. Hold that until we come back off the moment of silence for our honorable.
No, we have to bless our patriarch.
And
yeah, my bad.
And then we'll get into that. Let's pull it up.
Hold on, let me put a K on my forehead.
There you go. Yes, put the K on your forehead. K. Yes.
He anointeth my head with oil. My passport cup overfloweth. Surely submission and mercy shall follow me all the days of my patriarch life, and I will dwell in the house of patriarchs forever. Kevin. Oh, I got to do my cross.
All right, 5 seconds, sir, and then we get into that. Kevin. There you go.
You know, there's a gospel song called I Do, Don't You. And you could say we black men have a shepherd. I do, don't you. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna write it up. It's a Dorsey song. We're gonna have like a little Kevin devotional, but I do. And by the way, this is incredible. Anyway, keep going. I'm sorry.
Brother Negro, sir, that stat, definitely give it to us, sir, if you got it. Pause.
Okay, yeah. I digged up something from the incarceration. It's a sentencing project.
Mm-hmm.
What they do is they specialize and talk about the incarceration of people, and they had a specialized piece in regards to focus on incarcerated women. Some of the numbers and the stats that were, some of the talking points were as this: in 2021, the imprisonment rate of black women were 62 per 100,000, which is 1.6 times the rate of imprisonment of women of 38 point 100,000. And then on top of that, Latinx women imprisonment is 1.3 times the rate of white women, which is 49 versus 38 per 100,000.
And that's dated. That's dated material. How?
2000.
2000 and I can't hear. They took out the sound. Only on this channel. They
Hey,
know.
brother Negro, what 2000 what? Yeah, here they go. Ah, this is nice.
Well, that's okay. Look, that's dated information.
Okay.
I can assure you it's not 20. They haven't really been able to keep good records since 20. So I bet you it's information from 2019.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, you know what? Before we get back to you, brother Dr. Short, we got some of our esteemed panel joining us today. I hope our brother Q will be able to get in here, but I got to go to the wolf himself. The brother Lone Wolf, Juan J. Johnson, is in the building. Sir, you got the floor, brother Juan.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
And so can the white women.
It is good to be here, man. It's good to be here. Looking forward to the conversation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then, of course, we got our brother Twizzle, slippery to the motherfucking whistle. You understand me, the West Coast assassin. Twiz, what it look like for you, player? What it look like? Twizzle, are you there, sir? Bay Area talk. Oh, yeah, see this.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I'm in this, man. You know what I mean? Yes, indeed. I got my life together, man. I had to come get it right. You know what I mean? How y'all doing? What's up, Short? How you doing, Doc?
Man, I'm like Isaac Hayes.
Yes, indeed. It gets no better. It gets no cooler. You understand? But I'm here, Chef. You know what I mean? I'm just getting my zooms and wham whams ready. So, I'll be ready in a minute.
Indeed, indeed. Well, gentlemen, we are asking the question, okay? Today, it's about black woman accountability. They said the culture goes through the woman. And thus far,
That's not the only thing.
Thus far, we see it as a mission impossible, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, it appears to be a mission impossible. The breakdown is happening somewhere, and then you got a lot of young men who are coming from single mother households and then being unleashed onto the world to be some of the most sassy individuals you can possibly imagine. Sassy, aggressive, emotional, unbalanced. Okay?
Kevin.
So when we're talking about black woman accountability, do you think that it's something that we would see in the next 5 years to come, gentlemen? I'm gonna go back to my brother Dr. Short, and then we'll slide to the wolf.
Well, Kevin knows, frankly, but all I can tell you is that there is and there exists a program and a project to control and pacify and beat down Black Americans. And the path of least resistance, even for the Black Panther Party, came through using women. And it's the same thing as the plantation system. I can just tell you, I don't care which avenue I've worked at, I've been involved with three of the major political parties: the Greens, the Republicans, the Democrats. I've even dealt with some independent type groups, but ultimately, what I found to be true for all of them is that there there was a policy that, and I even add the Coon Church, that the things tend to be in the hands, with the exception of the very, very apex of the things, tend to be in the hands of sisters, and you had to go through sisters for everything. If you, there's nothing more male dominated and patriarchal than the Republican Party, I can assure you. And white men in Georgia, I think for the Republican committee for Georgia, there wasn't even a white woman, not one white woman out of all these white men on the top leadership. That's how white men roll. However, try to get involved, and the first thing they point you to is there's always typically either a compromised, very unattractive, obese, not married to a black man type woman that you're always pointed to. If you want to get involved, they send you to a mannish or a sexually compromised black woman. And what she does is she rips out and it drives off anybody black and male with any promise. It's sort of like what happens in public schools. Any of you that went to public schools, I'll give an example, and this is what black female teachers did that no one talks about, because you know what? Black men, as a rule, we're some passive ass people. We accept, we're like hogs. We take slop. That's why fat women get called beautiful and queen. If you ever
Come on.
think about being in school, in a black school, if you went to predominantly black school, if you ever look at your honor society, your student government, it's overwhelmingly female and black, almost, I'd say 60 to 70 to 80% female. There'd be a couple of males on the fringes. That's what we've been dealing with for the last, I'd say, 60 years. And no one really talks about the exclusion, the systematic exclusion that has been happening to black men, not just in the family, but everywhere else. And the erasure's been done by black females. If you were a student, if you were bright, a girl would get a higher grade than a boy if she was nice and sweet, like the teacher liked her to be. She didn't have to be smart, just be the most cooperative. So even the way as a people, what we see as smart or what's rewarded, we do the same thing that white society does. That is most passive and most submitted and most cooperative, the go along to get along, they're the ones that get anything that demonstrates what would be associated with men: assertion, drive, ability, determination, that's suppressed, which is why you'll see a lot of companies now, they're putting black women as head CEOs. And I could put a black man and he may argue with the white dude. He may stand up and challenge. And a white guy can't forgive a black man speaking back to him, but he can dismiss a woman speaking back to him because she's a freak. It's the same way that a lot of these black billionaires in the hip hop game, a lot of them are sex toys to white billionaires. They have a gang thug presence that they're presenting, that they're such tough guys. But I have it on high account. There are a couple of GCP billionaires that top off our black hip hop billionaires. So all that toughness, but you got your body all greased up on the cover of their magazines, and the freak offs are integrated. So even if there's any kind of black male virility, it has to be, it's either being sucked by a Caucasian, penetrated by a Caucasian, or the Caucasian is being penetrated. The whole culture is about castrating black men, and the black woman does her part. And a lot of that is in look at how women lead. You know, I was watching a documentary on gospel music today, and you know, of all people, was cripple ass Skip Gates's documentary. And I saw a person that I grew up with in the documentary, and it made me think about the fact that they had four girls and I believe one boy, and something happened to the boy. I don't know if the boy had an acid trip or something, but my impression was that the brother uh, was LGBTQ. Some crazy stuff had happened to him, and it was weird. I never asked because that wouldn't have been polite. But you have the very strong mother, and so the daughter wanted to. I mean, they're just doing great. Okay, the daughters did great. I'm not blaming the mother because the mother's a good person, but maybe the father was an idiot that was good to the girls and mediocre to the boy. You know, like the boy was darker skinned. Maybe that could be. But I see this trend in the girls being given practically everything to develop, and the boys are told to make it. And sometimes that happens different ways where the mom wants the boy. She doesn't care how poorly he does in school, but they push their daughters. I had an aunt. I mean, sons just sucked in school, could have done a lot better. Mom went to school to fight with the teachers that were demanding better performances from the boys. At least the oldest girl, the rebellious one that was born, um, the mom was pregnant with her when she was married, but you know how that came. The child born of rebellion was the salutatorian of their high school. So mom really invested stuff in the child of rebellion, the girl. Didn't want the first boy. So that boy died of AIDS. She didn't want, clearly didn't love this child. You could tell. And no one said anything because he was a male child, she's female, and whatever women do is you, you get where I'm coming from. I could just do this all day long. Ultimately, um, Palestinian women right now are doing everything they can to help Palestinian men. Every group of people that are under pressure, the women are behind the men. We're the only group of people in the world where the women, where a significant number of the women, not all, are against their own group. And this is noticeable. This is a conversation that other people notice it. And the so-called sharp black women do not do it. They the same way that whites don't acknowledge that they're racist. The black women, too few. The numbers are too small. I don't care. I mean, some of the people that are listening get it, but a lot don't. That things are out of order, and what's happening is treasonous. And when you have a people struggle, which we haven't had, and by the way, the black women are not accountable, but it is ultimately black men's fault. I repeat, they are not accountable. And it is our fault that we haven't created a culture where accountability and being to your word is backed up. I know certain cultures and people, if someone tells you something, that's going to happen. Do you know jive? And let me just say it, black male jive, bullshit, chicken shit culture. That's seen as normative. If someone says they're going to do something for you or with you, and they don't deliver any of it ever, okay, that is the norm. And that's why a lot of times you have to work with other people. Come on, chef, you're in business. How many times have you had to go to everybody but a black man in particular? You know you're not. He's not going to do it, even if he could. It's sort of like we enjoy cheating and fucking over each other as like it's a sport. And the net effect is the whole ecology of our people is destroyed by this covenant breaking, backstabbing, lying, the term I use, brotherfucker culture. That also supports the lack of accountability by women. First and foremost, I don't want women accountable because if I want to screw your lady, if she's accountable to you, I can't get that extra OPP. I want her to not be true to you, so I can get that. And if she gets pregnant, she can either kill it before you find out. I mean, I've seen people, they have enough EPT tests to be a hospital, right? I mean, they be buying them shits. They be selling out in the dollar store, like all of them be gone. Make certain that they kill the baby, or if she gets an abortion, or if you and I look enough alike, she can pass this shit off on you and shit, no skin off my ass. We also, there's a certain sector of black men that like this hedonistic bohemian coon Wild West culture. And so it's like it works together. It's like bullshit yin and bullshit yang. And we have to decouple that. However, because our culture is top heavy with females, we have to go after the sacred cow because speaking speaking truth to pussy is not politically correct in the black community. I repeat, speaking truth to pussy is wrong. It's a taboo. Uh, Again, the phrase is, "Do you know what she's got?" Translation: she's got a big ass. Don't say that to her. You may not get topped off sometime later. And so all of the black men live under this. It's like a contract writer. If you ever had a contract and you want chocolates and shit if you perform or speak, or you want Evian water, or you want what's the stuff called? Poland Spring or whatever, or glacier water or Fiji water. You have a rider, it's at the very bottom of your contract. There's a social contract in black men that you do not criticize or hold black women accountable in general. Unless she's really ugly and you can't stand her as well. So basically, if they're fuckable, just let everything go. Because you might need to fuck some point. And that could be the person that you could get access to and you're going to blow it. And there's this pussy shortage, pussy deficit, hedonism among black men. Oh, we're going to run out. They can never say, there's no person they wouldn't screw. They would screw the Halloween skeleton if they could keep it from flying around when the wind blew. And there are plenty of holes too. That kind of manhood where your achievement is through your penis. It's not your brain. It's not your talents with your hands, but how much screwing you do. That is the engine of this female delinquency and malevolency and mendacity. It is we black men that keep backing it. For a sexual meal, we're probably not even going to get. I mean, frankly, Happy Meals aren't good for you. I'll stop there. Chef,
Doc, can you hear me?
yes, I do.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Come on, bring it.
Yeah, I think that again, I make a distinction between the culture and that belief system.
Mm-hmm.
I think the behavior that happens in the culture is to be expected because it's a part of the culture. But when you become a believer, whether you are a believer in Jesus, Yeshua, whether you're a believer in whatever your belief system is, then you come under the authority of the scriptures. I don't try to impose the belief system on the culture because I think that has been the problem. When the culture, when you leave the culture and come to the belief system, there should be a difference. Because you're leaving something that may not have no standards. And you come to the belief system, like I said, I am unapologetic like you, Brother Short. We are followers of the teachings of Jesus, the Christ. the revolutionary one, the one who you don't kill a weak person, you kill a strong person. You know, you leave weak people around to affect other weak people. Okay, so from my perspective, because you get so much of the people in the belief system trying to bring the culture in, that's what armies. But if we stand on scriptures, again, I can go back to Genesis 3:16. Matter of fact, I'm going to Genesis 3:16. Why not? Because I think that's important. This was after the fall. This was when the woman decided to eat the forbidden fruit. Okay? In the instructions that God gave her. Now you ain't got to believe this if you're not a follower of the teaching of Jesus. You ain't got to believe this if you're a Muslim. You ain't got to believe this if you're Judaism. I don't know what you subscribe to, but I believe. And it says unto the woman, he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. And in sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Let me say this. I want to be very clear. For whatever reason, that little part where it says, but he shall rule over thee, that desire, from my understanding, is you're going to try to rule your husband.
They ain't trying, they doing it.
And even God himself says, but he shall rule you. See, women look here, when they ate from that fruit, it made them smart. Too damn smart.
Now, it made them dumb. It says proclaiming themselves wise. When you step out of God's order, you're stupid. It's stupid for the woman to want to go in the boxing match with the man in the U.S. Army. It's stupid for women to tolerate men who still have penises to compete as women in women's sports. Women tomorrow could do a Bud Light and cleanness, but you know what's interesting? I'm going to say this to you, ladies. You guys do best when you're attacking men that are doing what they're supposed to do. When men don't give a damn about women, the men that hate women, the men that dog women, they're not checked. And in reality, women wait for men to check men that are out of order with women. And it used to be, at least like in the old movies, where the hole was tied to the railroad track and then waiting for a man to say that at least he showed up instead of letting the train cut her in half. Now the modern woman's too good to ask for help because she's equal. No, she ain't equal. She's a woman. She still needs the help. So, go on, keep going, brother. I'm sorry.
Well, I think the reason why the women don't check them because the women spawn them. It's very difficult to check the thing you spawned. They've cuddled these. They've raised these out of order men. You're not gonna check something that you spawned. Think about it. A strong brother like myself, you're not gonna check me because I won't let you check me. But for that thing.
Oh, wait a minute. Try to check you and expect sex with the smile and your money and your credit card. No, that's like a triple no.
I just know that, the man has got to assume the authority back in the earth that was given to him. And that woman, if she does not get in line, then we must be willing to step over that carcass too. Look here, man. Even the scripture teaches it's better to live on the rooftop of a house than to live in a house of a brawling, loud woman.
Pork chop.
Okay? Now, look, this is medicine for my sisters. This is medicine because, again, a lot of the sisters are out of order.
Mm.
You know they're out of order,
Mm.
but there's not been no system in place to check them.
Mm-hmm.
And living in the system of white male domination, and you've been his favorite
Toy.
You've been who's been the ear to his pillow talk. Do we got to go back to the birth of a nation? Do I must bring you the birth of a nation?
Come on with it, brother.
Well, some people like the birth of a nation. When I see people role playing master and the slave, and they have their pictures up with these black women happily get with the white man, and she's his wench, and he's got a lynch rope around their neck and his doggy style, and take that black men and stuff. I mean, there's some women that wish they were Sally Hemings. Sally Hemings she was living in a mansion. Sally Hemings was with a man that was powerful. Sally Hemings was with a man that was rich. Sally Hemings ate good. Sally Hemings dressed good. Sally Hemings made it to the White House. What's wrong with that? Sally Hemings, the sexual ends justify the means. So Hemingism, we can call it that. She's hemming. I like that.
Hemming and Hawning.
Yeah,
Hemming and Hawning, but go ahead.
That's not a bad position. Like Midnight Train to Georgia, I'd rather be in his world than live without him in mine. I'd rather be in his white world than be a single mother in mine. So I guess Midnight Train to slavery. We got to make that. I'll rewrite that. This is a mindset. So, and by the way, don't laugh at me. Black women that marry white men do not get divorced in the same percentages as white women divorce black men that they marry. Black men divorce white women, and black women divorce black men. But when a black woman gets herself a white man and she does pay 50-50 and more, don't even try to lie. I hate liars. Those black women they do the Halle Berry. They do the Diana Ross. They subsidize the white men they get with. Oh, yes, they do. With no complaints. They're not on Oprah. They're not talking to Male King. They don't go out and dog those white men that they're taking care of. Shaka Khan didn't do it. None of them do. It never happens. Dorothy Dandridge, none of these black women, when they get ripped off go public. They don't. It's only okay. Whoopi Goldberg is a classic example of having a good black husband, but who got her off of dope, but she don't like black men. She gets with the white dude, and they do blackface together, and he calls her nigger. She liked him more than the black man that loved her and got her off of dope.
Ted Danson.
Yeah, I mean, so, so don't say it. Don't ever put in your mind, it is our idea that everybody in slavery and all those sexual things were miserable and unhappy. I wasn't there. Somebody enjoyed getting screwed by massa. Because if you didn't, and you had an opportunity, your ass to run away, you ain't did it. Okay, so you up in the house with the nice lye soap, you get to drink the mint julep that the missus didn't finish. A whole bunch of people live real good. And I'm going to say this to you. The house nigger in American black culture is unfairly weighted. It's always associated with people like Clyburn or Clarence Thomas. We say only Uncle Tom. We don't say Aunt Tom. We have some way of not saying that. We'll say Mammy, but Mammy's got to work both sides. We don't have a word for female traitor in our culture. We don't. Because, like, for the black man, every person with a pussy is a freedom fighter, even white women. Black men, again, the issue with the black men is that He has a destroyed ego, and the average black man is a whore with no dick control. And whoever opens the legs up, he doesn't care if she's got swastikas on her titties. If she's got a Ku Klux Klan mask on her vagina, he's going in because it's an available orifice. And until that changes, in fact, that comes back to conversion. Uh, Without a concept of something transcending life other than the fatalism here and now, I'm gonna get my money, I'm gonna get my pussy here now. I don't care about anyone else, which is a dominant cultural mindset of black men and black people right now. Without something coming along that is holy to get someone to say, hey, I'm not going to cheat on this woman because she's the mother of my children. I'm going to be faithful for the woman. I'm not going to dump a bastard from this dude I don't even know and make the good man I have take care of him and criticize how he raises someone else's a bastard seed. We have to have that. And that only comes, I'm just say it, niggas come to Jesus while there's time. And the same way that I had to shut down my chat because there are people from other countries trying to get in the middle of our situation because they know how bad stuff is. I mean, no other group of people, no other group of women in the world have made a movie like The Color Purple. You could never get a group of people enslaved by another group of people to make a movie to attack the men and the people who fought against the people that held them in slavery. What am I saying? Spielberg, and I'm not saying this to be ugly, I'm just going to state a fact. I have an ancestor named Robert Israel. He's a Jew. He had slave plantations in Barbados. There are a lot of people who owned and participated in the slave trade that the GCP. They're the same people who run Hollywood. Okay, how Oprah and all these other people run up behind the descendants of people who owned their great great grandparents. All this damn black slave trauma porn that Oprah makes. The people who got rich off of that trauma are underwriting the movies to make fun of us. No other group of people would do this. No other group of women would dare do this. I'm trying to tell you, in India and other places, they would mob these women. You would get beaten and stripped naked in the street and kicked. I don't want anything like that, and that's not what I'm suggesting. But you would be shut down. You couldn't drag them in. Let me tell you, the Palestinian men in Gaza who are on these little red pills, they're on drugs because they're miserable because of unemployment. And the women have to take care of them. They're in and out of jail. They're harassed by everybody. You'll never see negative depictions of Palestinian men except for in GCP media. They won't put it out there. We can take Pakistanis, the guys who killed their sisters for saying hi to another guy at school, an honor killing. You will never see negative depictions of Pakistani men in mainstream. Maybe a local small film, and there'll be some feminists funded by United Nations subsidiary or some Western group. I'm not saying that this stuff they're saying wouldn't be true. You can't put the flaws and the foibles and the failings of any group of men in the world on blast and there not be physical and economic repercussions against the person that did it. The fact that this constantly happens amongst our women shows one that our women are working in alliance with people who hate them as a collective, and then two, that black men have not said, we're going to shut this shit down. And we absolutely haven't done that. There was one great Wazi black woman, her name is Fannie Lou Hamer, who stood up alone and tried to stop some of this stuff in the early 70s. And then all of a sudden people turned on her when she wasn't for all this degenerate stuff and baby killing. Fannie Lou Hamer sort of got eased out. Okay. So and the other thing is black men haven't gotten behind righteous black women. In fact, that's why when I do my sermon on Sunday, it will be if your baby you destroy, you're a sodomite decoy. Black men that support hedonism, abortion, degeneracy, Basically, you're fags in spirit. You may not suck a dick, you may not sit on a dick, you may not be dicking no man, but the way that you live and the culture that you subsidize through the blood of your babies and your money and the stupid things you do, you are ushering in the ecology of degeneracy with the trans, the women with dicks, the men with titties. This is how what you do when basically, as long as I don't care what nobody do, as long as they don't hurt nobody. No, you do to hurt someone. When you abort a baby, you hurt the baby. You fuck up the woman, she ends up with breast cancer, and nobody ever talks about that. Or the other problems, or you get a little nasty East Asian doctor that scrapes too hard on her fallopian tube, and then she gets ectopic pregnancies and dies. We do to hurt each other with the degenerate, immoral, awful things that we do. When you get someone, when you do these things, when you screw someone young, when you don't check to find out whether you have a bunch of yeast in your dick that's going to clog her shit up for the next 10 years because you're so nasty. You'd screw a horse, you'd screw a goat, you'd put your dick in a garbage disposal if you could get on top of the sink. That does too hurt.
Doc, I'll say this. I think that you put a lot on the table, but I think the root of it is this: you protect what you love.
Mm-hmm. Well, ain't fighting nothing, ain't protecting nothing.
No,
I don't
I'm
even want to
talking
put on a
about
condom. Man, I gotta wear this.
no.
I got a big knot on this
Watch
dick.
this.
I gotta wear
The
this.
women from other countries who are
Mm-hmm.
not talking about their men is because they love their men
They love their men. Mm.
and they love their children.
They love their children.
You protect.
So,
At the end
so,
of the day, I say I love you. I'm going to protect you.
but not only that,
And
if you love them, you're not ungrateful. And let's just get. I'm gonna say this, and I won't interrupt you again. We have a bunch of ungrateful bitches in our community. There's not no amount of money, no amount of anything that a black man can do that's okay. You're an ingrate. It's an abomination before God. It's outrageous. Everybody wants what you have, including the degenerates, and you don't want it. Go ahead, brother.
again, to my ladies, it's not all of you,
It's too many.
but it's enough of you. They're not checking the ones who are out of order.
Mm-hmm. They're supposed to be police like the Muslim women. You can't come to the masjid looking like a hoe. They will check you. It used to be like that in church, but then when all the women want to be preachers, can't even cover the women shit, right?
Watch this. I had a conversation with a female pastor, and I said it was the first ladies that destroyed the the church. There will only be one queen, like a queen bee in the beehive. It was the first lady concept that destroyed the mothers in the church.
There's no concept of a first lady in the damn Bible.
That's what
The
I'm
only
saying.
person that matters is the man. Get over
That's
it. We can't have
so.
children. You can't be dudes. There's some things we get that are ours, and there's some things that you get that we share. I'm going to say this to you. Go to a church, and the women go with almost no drawers on under their dresses and sit up in the front of the church. The women see it, and you know what? They might hand them something to put over their knees. How about putting those holes out? I've seen women come to church in men's clothing. I've seen stud couples snuggling and cuddling in church in men's clothes and not a peep. Two men couldn't do that. Even if the choir had more sugar than Cuba, you couldn't do it. Because not only do they not love and not care and they're ungrateful, they don't mind. There's nothing that women can do wrong because there's this imagined alliance that we women have to stick together. We have to stick together And I'm not going to call you out. I'm not going to call you out killing babies. I'm not going to call you out that you're cheating on your husband. I'm not going to call you out that you got your vagina up in the face of our guest pastor. I'm not going to call you out because we women have to appear to be a united front to take on these men because we're pork chop feminists before we're black or Christian. In fact, well, I just think being a woman makes me saved. I'm God. I've given a life. I mean, you hear this incredibly stupid stuff, and you'll always find, pardon my language, a dumb fuck conscious community, often an old, used up nigga that wants to be relevant, often retreads from the 60s and 70s that run around and they're talking all this dumb Pan-Africanist and African matriarchy. If matriarchy is what ran Africa and the white people and Arabs have kicked their ass for 1400 years, maybe we don't need matriarchy in Africa either. How about that? Okay, shit's not working. And now the Chinese are up in there. If women running shit is why we're fucked up like we are today, all you hoes are fired. Just quit. Get out of running anything. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying, but matriarchy must go, feminism must go, conscious community coons, y'all. And it's interesting, conscious community coons, that people putting up all this stuff, and the first God was a woman. Says no wonder we're fucked up. The first God should have been God.
I want to back you up on this. I'm gonna go to the scripture. Again, I'm a scripture type of brother. And again, when I stand 10 toes down, it's on the scripture. And if you ask every man what is his purpose in this earth, he will give you some different story. I'm gonna give you my purpose in the earth, and I'm gonna give you the scripture. Genesis 1:26. I'm gonna read it. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over the creeping things that creep."
Come on.
This is me. I believe in dominion. He didn't give that to the woman. Most of our white brethren, they use this scripture to rule. They use this scripture to go about manifest destiny. They understand dominion over everything. Not the woman, the man. And once we wake up and realize we're supposed to dominate everything, and even them.
Did you hear that, pork chops? Are you listening, pork chops? Are you listening, pork chops?
Because at the end of the day, and I'll back it up.
No, say that again. Who are we supposed to? Are you listening, pork chops? A man is speaking.
We're supposed to dominate everything, including them.
Okay.
Watch this.
Even the loudmouth sisters with the wagging heads?
Listen, watch this.
Even are we supposed to dominate the loudmouth sisters? The chunky ones that are assertive? All of them? Even when they wag their head? Even when they've got a big juicy booty? Are you supposed to dominate her too? You know, she's kind of cute.
A big booty is only a disposable waste unit. That's it. That's all a big booty is a big disposable waste unit.
Okay. Well, couldn't you say a deluxe disposable waste unit?
Oh, no, because the function of the big
Cat
booty
talk.
is to sit on the toilet and release yourself. That's it.
Pat talk. Listen, you know, patriarchs are speaking. Feminists, you have to listen to this. Everybody out there with feminist friends, please send our stuff to the Women's Studies Department. We can't stand women's studies. We want it all closed down. We need to have a human studies department to teach humanity. Stop separating women from men. I mean, that's stupid. We need to stop this, right? We got to stop it. We got to stop it. We have got to stop it. We have got to stop this. Go ahead, brother. And by the way, I want to remind everyone, please like these programs. Please subscribe to the Lone Wolf Firearm platform. Please look up on their next platform. Subscribe. This is the Angry Black Men's Book Club channel. I have another one. I need 50 to 100 subscribers to subscribe to my DRS1. Let me see what's thing. I'll send it out to you. I'm going to ask you to subscribe to my other channel. That way, in case they should take one down, they have as many. I think it's DRS1, Randy Short, DRS1, Randy Short, or Randy DRS1, Randy, whatever. Look for DRS1. You'll find it. I want 50 subscribers so I can go live on multiple. I've got about 4 channels just in case something stupid happens. Please, please, please subscribe and send these Pat Talks. We've done 11 to every feminist, to your grandma, to anyone if they're bored, or just women that hate men that want something to argue about. We are giving you. If you know a woman that hates men, please send my videos to all of the all the women that hate men, every misogynist. I want them to be my biggest fans. I'm going to keep making content to prove how terrible and awful men are. We're going to do this. We're going to do this until I die of a heart attack. And by the way, for all of you that hate feminism, I think you all do. If you don't, we're trying to get you there. Remember that this is Randy Eve. My birthday is tomorrow. I want all the subscribers. If you can't give anything, share the platform with 100 people. If you can, 200. Just send it out. That's the greatest gift you can do is you can subscribe, you can share, you can advance this, watch stuff. And by the way, we're having fun. But I also want you to donate. You could do it to me. You could do it to Chef. You could do it to Lone Wolf. You can help Brother Negro. We're going to be doing more of these. We're going to be doing more. We have plenty of content. We now, on my platform, I've got about 45. This will make 46. And if I'm doing something, definitely Sabbath, and I'll probably be doing stuff Sunday. Pretty soon we're going to have 50, and soon we'll have 60. So we want you to watch, donate. And there's no excuse because it's up on the screen. $sign Dr. Randy Short is the Cash App. If you do Zelle or PayPal, it's wrandyshort@gmail.com. I'm going to do it again. Dr. Randy Short is the Cash App. $sign DrRandyShort. It's not hard to find. It's everywhere. If you are able to do Zelle or PayPal, it's my email, wrandyshort@gmail.com. We do this in part because it takes time and energy. Y'all should make it rain on us. I want to thank everybody that has given. There was one person, I thank you. They sent me 100. That's how the illiterate people from North Carolina and DC say 100 instead of 100. Someone sent me 100. And I'm thinking, I'm cool with 5 and 2 and 3 because some of us have thousands and thousands and thousands of followers. They all don't subscribe, but we have them. So I'm thinking, man, we would be able to do incredible stuff.
Cash App.
Yeah, definitely a Cash App again. He said that. All right, Dr. Randy Short, drop it. I'll be 59. That means in 366 days. I mean, God willing, and I claim it, I'll make it to 60. And it's incredible. That means I'm literally a year and a day and 6 years. Most black men die at 66. A significant number of black men die at 66. I'm like,
Hit the Cash App.
what do you mean? Hit it?
Hit the Cash App.
Oh yeah. Just make a contribution, but also take the time to like this. Take the time to subscribe to Lone Wolf Firearms. Brother Juan has some of the best discussions on safety, firearms, morality, all of that. And you know what? He's got under 200 subscribers, but how many of y'all wish that you knew a black Rambo? You wish you knew a black RoboCop. You wish. Well, he's our friendly neighborhood ass crushing expert
Oh,
on self
Pause.
defense. And it's I just whenever I have a concern or a problem about, wanting someone to get beaten up or what to do, you just call him and he's like got an encyclopedia and just says, well, what you need to do is hit him in the head, then punch him in the face. No, that's right, punch in the center of the face. I mean, whatever it is, he can tell you how to deal with your problem. And he does private lessons. So if you're shy, you have a really big gun and you're a little lady, you don't want people to see how big your guns are because you don't want to scare them off. Um, he does one-on-ones, he does groups. So Lone Wolf Firearms, we're not talking about black self-respect and black protection and black self-defense. We practice it, we invest in it, we provide it. Please, if you have any concern about carjacking, maybe you have a criminal record and you need some alternatives to having a firearm. He knows, I mean, he knows about the Chinese weapons and shit. He's multilingual in terms of hurting people. He's like universal. He can tell you, oh, well, you need a stick about 14 inches long. So he can tell you how much it knocks someone's ass out. I mean, he can sit down, he's an encyclopedia of pain. Uh, if you're having a problem, if someone has stolen your vehicle, if you think someone's going to steal something, break in your house, if you need to know which ring camera will be able to like see the license plate on the person's car when they drive up, call Brother Lone Wolf. I mean, he knows. I mean, he's like a walking spook that sat by the door, CIA, friendly neighborhood shaft, it just with longer hair. And so you
God,
need to check out his site. He's very laid back and he seems friendly. But man, and if you need someone, private investigation, security, you just want to go somewhere and need to make certain that people get beat down, call him up. I mean, look him up. Lone Wolf Firearm. Tell everybody you're in the DC area. And the crack is moving in, gentrification. Did you hear about the little Ukrainian spitting on the black women in the apartment buildings? Yeah, we need to like stock up. And if you need any help on laws or registering, why do the shit yourself? You can't go to the Catholic Church and have them fill in your shit. Like you're gonna have to do it yourself. You need someone to show you how to fill in the forms. Get yourself a little power tool. Just have a little talk with Jesus and a bigger talk with your weapon. Just so when people are acting stupid, that all these illegals, there are like 7, 8 million of them, they're now raping and kidnapping people, snatching pocketbooks. Why be a victim? We're already black. Why be a crime victim too? That's too much. That's too big a cross. Jesus didn't even carry it. So look up on with firearms. If you do parties, if you know anything about food, whatever, you need to talk to Chef C. Chef C has a budget that can provide for whatever, but please, no welfare shit. Okay, he's high end nigga. So, I mean, if you like broke ass black people, just go to Popeyes or Bojangles. But if you're serious, wedding or some shit like that, Chef C can be your consultant. He knows cooks and so forth. You need to talk to him. You need to go up and look over at this thing called On Their Necks. Look his ass up. He's really good with stuff. And if you don't want somebody with HIV making your food, if you want a straight black male cook who's not looking at your husband, have chef provide the food. You can have a straight person make your wedding cake. Okay, why not? So, and of course, you know me, Angry Black Men's Book Club. Yes, we've had a vacation from the books, but that's because we wanted to do culture. White people do culture war all the time. We're now doing culture war. And when I come back, when I feel like it, I'm thinking maybe after my birthday, I've had a book vacation, having to read about that ugly ass Shirley Chisholm. I mean, it really fucked my eyes up. That's why you see me with glasses. I mean, having to look at that ugly picture all the time and read to y'all was like messing with me. So I'm recovering. So we'll go back to that, but we want you to support everybody. We want you to tell everybody we keep it real. And as much as we hate feminism, we hate faggotists and simps more. We know that the foundation of this is no good, sorry ass black men. You put the pussy first and you put God never. We're coming for you. So we want you to continue to share this, send this out everywhere. And just a discretionary note, we don't give a damn about your religious views or beliefs, especially if you're in one of those countries where you don't have enough food to eat and you're running out of water and shit, i.e. Pakistan. Okay, where a bunch of you guys are retarded because you screw your first cousins. You know, when you can get beyond screwing your first cousins, you and I can talk about the religion that you believe. How about that? I mean, who screws your first cousin? You got so many of them retarded, and that's probably why they're so willing to suicide bomb, because you don't have nothing to live for. Can you imagine being a dude with Down syndrome thinking you're going to get a hookup? The only person going to bother you is a molester when you're young. Okay? So let's go back to Pat Talk. That was my commercial break.
Salute, salute. Brother Juan Johnson, you got it, sir. You got the flow.
I want to get back on the topic of dominion.
Come on.
Dominion.
Every man that's listening to this broadcast or hearing it, you need to know that you're supposed to walk in dominion.
Authority.
Over everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You're supposed to be actively walking in dominion over the fish of the sea, the fowl of the air, the cattle, the creepers. And even God said in 3:16 that the woman whose desire should be to you, you shall rule over her. If we're not ruling, you're going to be miserable. We got a lot of men out here that's miserable because they don't rule. You look here.
You need to say that again. You need to say that again.
And Viagra's not a power pill.
You know, you need to say that again because there's a lot of miserable ass dudes out here.
You are going to be miserable because the first command given to man was to have dominion. And any man who's not walking in dominion, he's going to be miserable. It goes against your nature to subject yourself to somebody or something that God told you to rule over.
Right. Feminism. Feminism is antithetical to male well-being, to human existence. Feminism is an abomination. Feminism is it is a rebellion against the first commandment to have dominion. It basically says that men need to stand down, shut the hell up, pleasure women, give up their money, and let their kids run wild. This is the exact opposite of God's order. Feminism is evil, feminism is wrong, and only patriarchy is good. And the fact that we men have allowed them to vilify patriarchy for decades, now it's the time to openly put the word patriarchy in your mouth. Don't be with any woman that does not want a patriarch. That's like wanting a man with no scrotum. What do you want a man for? Yes, the guy has it. Oh, hey, wait a minute. I love this. Hold on. But I would tighten this up, brother. You have dominion over opinion. And I would say divine dominion over secular opinion. You see, divine dominion over secular opinion. Okay. Divine dominion over secular opinion. Patriarchy is made by God. Feminism is made by sodomites and malcontent, miserable women. And often when you see that some of the most ugly, hideous women. By the way, did I send you, Chef C? You need to share that video clip from Planned Parenthood where the ugly, fat, bloated black woman is saying that virginity is a myth. It's an ugly stud. I sent it to you. Oh, yes, I did. Did you see that?
Let me look for it, brother.
Please
Hey,
put it up.
Dr. Short,
There's
Dr.
this
Short, those are the ones though.
it's a
Those are the ones
hideous,
that's always doing it.
it's a hideous, ugly woman that no man should want to be with. Yes, I'm body shaming ugly, rebellious, feminists. Yes, you're ugly. You are ugly. Lose weight.
You
Get.
got me right here saying it right now, and I'm calling out one of them right now, Professor Glump. Professor Lump. I heard they call her Professor Clump, but I call her Professor Lump of shit. Because she's the biggest feminist black man hater out there.
Yeah,
Whenever she comes online, she talks bad about black men.
we need to attack her.
MSNBC and everything.
Where's her channel? Because we all need to come on one day and start calling for them to take her channel down. We need to do what they do to patriarchs. We can do the same thing. This is unheard of. No other group of men put up with this. And you know what? There's some dude that say, man, I could back up in her, man. She's probably really, really, really tight. I know she mean.
Oh, that fat mother. Oh, she got booty. She got booty, man. Woo, woo, woo. You know, fat chick, man. That woman ain't a fat chick. That woman is a fat lump of shit. That's what she is.
How often do you guys hear the ministers of any of the major religions talk about the responsibility of the man beyond protect and provide? I'm talking about back in Genesis 1.
Brother, the only thing I hear the pastors say that the men need to do, they're the same as the women, is give up the money and shut up. Pay, keep giving, dig deep, and keep giving deep. Do what you're told. My anniversary day, Men's Day, just Mother's Day in particular. Mother's Day is Easter for niggas, where we worship our sorry ass failed mothers. That is Easter for Negroes. It's Mother's Day. And Women's Day at the church, and they have all the studs up in the pulpit, all of them with with watermelon-sized boobs. They need to get a better bras. I've never seen such a poor bra selection as on Women's Day. Damn. Learn how to dress. I mean, if I have to learn how to make a bra myself, I know I could make a better one where the stuff isn't sagging like it looks like a water slide because the thing doesn't hold. I mean, come on. I don't even think about, I just said, God, we need better bra design, especially in church. On Mother's Day and Women's Day, they all they want the men to do is give money and shut up and keep coming. And y'all should be emotional like the women are. Why don't you speak in tongues and fall out and run around like a woman when I touch you? Because most of these, a large number of these preachers are marginal fuck up guys. A large number of them are guys who didn't fit in. They couldn't be a cop, couldn't be an athlete, couldn't be a baller, couldn't be much of anything. Oh, but in church, where I can be like a weak nothing that can be important because I'm the only one talking, the church is a great place for a weak, sorry, uncharismatic, awkward dude to have some authority. And so that those kind of awkward dudes, they don't want anybody in that church that has any kind of manhood in him because it could threaten his fragile snowflake ego. And the women like him because he's a bigger woman than they are. And that's why these women sit up under that bitch, TD Jakes. Something's wrong with him. I don't care what nobody says. Before P. Diddy, I knew TD Jakes. In fact, there was a Jakes. I bet you he's related to him because he's dark skinned. My dad used to mess around with, then he stopped. This guy's name is Jakes. DC ain't far from West Virginia. I may have known TD Jakes' father. I hope not, because that dude turned me off. It creeped me, and that's like in 1969. So I've been having problems with the name Jakes for 54 years. When I hear the name Jakes, I get scared. I think that dude was a pedo, the Jakes that my father used to deal with. So I'm looking at this one now cross-eyed. And then there was another Jakes. That was a woman. She was in the voodoo that was at my dad's church. So when I hear Jakes, I
have no response to that.
I didn't say TD. Maybe it's consenting adults because, I was with the bishop in a CME church, and he T-boned a man, and he called it consent. I'm not lying. I'm not
Well,
lying on him. So no, they have a lot of that. These crooked, deviant preachers. A lot of them. The best place for them would be, Epstein Island with a no return ticket. Leave them there.
one of my only responses to the Jake's piece right now, and I've already sent him a notification. I went on his website, told him he need to apologize for women that are loose. That message was attached to feminism.
Well,
Okay,
his power bottom is loose.
Well, he started preaching that in 1992. He retired it in 2022. He had 30 years of telling women to be loose from their husbands and their families, and they took it and they ran with it. And feminism was attached to that message. And he's never repented for loosing these women.
Mm-hmm.
That's my
that's what I'm saying. Power bottom, thou art loose. That's what really got loose. See, that's why those women are backing him, Juan. The same women that he told, do whatever the hell you feel like doing, he knew he could get into a room full of a captive audience of hedonists and say that whatever it is, God will forgive me, because that message has attracted all of those ratchet, home wrecking, liar, child support fraud, tongue speaking crooks, female crooks, those fraudster broads. That's what you pack your church with. Same way that Jim Jones had a church full of ignorant black women who knew that he was molesting kids and everything else. They ended up dead. A lot of these cultic people, appeal to. Remember, the scriptures say that these places would be full of silly women, never coming to the knowledge of the truth. It said it's stupid women and if the Bible sexes choke on it. The Bible says a lot of dumb women would be bamboozled by everybody. And what's the song? I know the Bible's right and someone's wrong. Pork chops are wrong. Feminism is wrong. Abortionists are wrong. Folks run down the divorce court, destroying marriages is wrong. Raising your boys and telling them that they're a girl on the inside and telling girls they're a boy on the inside. Isn't it interesting that almost all of these people that are confused about their sexuality are girls growing up with these ratchet mothers that want to be men? The women hate God and hate being women so much until their girls want to be males. It's a female phenomenon primarily.
I mean, what we have to ask the question, is it a deep-seated hatred for God?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I believe in the scriptures. I'm unapologetic, but I also know this: when you come under the scriptures, then you abide by the scriptures, and right. The females are resisting.
Well, and we're not leading. Ultimately, the best thing that black men can do is to lead by example. See, I see folks in the manosphere, and all they're doing is pointing fingers and attacking women this, women that, women with. My thing is this, but yet you want to go and be a passport brother, and you want to screw a bunch of people and see bar girls in Thailand and all this. That's the point is you're looking for paradise, but you've ruined what you had here. A lot of women, they can't get but so low if you won't get low with them. Right? If, like you said, if you don't say yes to everything, and you move on, leave the person alone. Certain people get around, I don't want to be alone. I'm going to do this. That's the same way certain people who did not want to be skipped for marriage waited until they were married to have sex. Then the pill and the loose morals, and then basically people do what they want. What a lot of the men are crying about is that the women are as trampish as they are. But dude, if we weren't out there, it'd be a lot harder to be a tramp by yourself. seems as if somewhere this falls upon us to be, and it does, to be righteous, and righteousness will be attracted to righteousness. Instead of trying to refashion a person that's been out there dancing to Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B, and like been topping off all the fellas at the strip club and lap dancing, you want to make them into Mary Queen of Heaven, Virgin Mary wife. That's stupid.
Can't turn a hoe into a housewife.
That's right. Why do that? In fact, the only thing a hoe knows how to dust is the tip of your penis. So it seems as if you should. In fact, she does a different sort of dusting and polishing. Get someone. Men need to become interested in forming families instead of busting a nut. I mean, you could, not that I'm encouraging people to masturbate. You could bust a nut by yourself. You can have wet dreams. Uh, Busting a nut is not like splitting the atom. Although we've made this for a lot of sorry, pathetic, underachieving black men on all levels. They've made sex such a big to do until nothing really matters. In fact, you don't matter. Just there has to be more than just busting a nut. What about the children? What about getting deeper into what sex means? Like someone that's there for you when you're old and ugly and your teeth are falling out, or when you have prostate cancer or prostate problems and you can't get an erection. For if that person's only interested in you for your magic stick and all the magic goes, I guess you're disposable. Something has to be a lot deeper than just carnal freak offs.
I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing?
Do you see what he got on? Do you see what he's wearing?
Oh,
as a man, you have no business wearing that shit. Even if you was in Scotland wearing the kilt, even if you was a Campbell or McGregor or McDonald, you have no business wearing no shit like that. And as men, and let me get in here, man, because I see as men, a lot of us forgot how to be men. A lot of them don't know what it is to be men because they raised by women. I said it before and I say it again, and every time I say it, it comes true. I was raised by a man. And that man always told me from the time of a little boy that we are living in a generation of men that's raised by women. That's why a lot of these beta males are beta males. I call them beta mama's boys. They come up under women, and then once they come up adolescents and become independents, they look for other women to take the place of the woman that they come from up under. Oh, you can never find a woman to replace your mother. You only get one mother, and ain't no other woman gonna love you or take care of you like no one. So therefore, when you out into this world, you have to be a man. And the first thing about being a man is going out there and getting your own. God bless the child that got his own. And the best thing about having your own is maintaining your own and building off your own. A lot of these young men out here are lost because they don't have any direction. And I'm going to say this because I was one of those young men. I was thinking that, we were always taught that you have to get a good job. And when you get a good job, you work that job, put your kids through, and all that. But yet we were never taught to go out there and build yourself up and get your own business, get this economy, get you an insurance policy to put money into, then you can draw out of it. We weren't taught that things. A lot of those things were unattainable. Remember on Malcolm X said that he told his teacher that he wanted to be a lawyer, and the white boy told him, "You're a Negro, you can't be a lawyer." Well, that's what we were told when we were growing up. I remember Chef C. When I was graduating from high school in 1992. My dad, they used to always walk me to school because their little hangout was right before my school. And that all his OG Vietnam veterans used to say, in my time, they wasn't called OGs. They was called vets. You know what I'm saying? And they used to always say, "Boy, what you going to do when you graduate?" And I say, "I want to be a chef." But then they would always say, "Yeah, that's a good thing, but you got to have money to be a chef." To be a chef, that's nothing like you can go to a community college or some little side school to be. You have to go to an authentic, accredited school. And out here on the West Coast, it was called the California Culinary Academy, CCA. And with that, you had to have financing. You had to have Co-signers, and not only that, you had to have reliable sources of income to show that you approved that loan. So that always discouraged me. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say, as men like me, you, Dr. Short, Juan, we have to show these young dudes that everything that you want, everything that you dream of, and everything that you desire in life is obtainable if you can focus on it and put yourself to it. But as Dr. Shorts always say, you're not going to obtain the things that you want between the legs of a woman. You got to focus on that. You have to focus on your goal. As they
But you
say,
can
eyes
get
on the
some
prize.
of it. I didn't say put all of it.
No, you gotta be 100%. You gotta be focused. That's like I said, grinders and hustlers. When you a grinder, you eat, sleep what you do. When you passionate about something, you think about that shit in your sleep. Like my mentor always say, while other people sleeping, I'm up thinking. That's what a real one have to do. That's why I suggest all young dudes, whatever you want to do. And this is how I help the young brothers. I help them like whatever you want to do, be serious about it, because the work you put in is the time you have invested, and the years that you have in it is experience that can't nobody take from you. And that's your value right there. You know, you got to have years in the game in order to have your name recognized. You know, all these names like you, Dr. Short, you got years in the game. Your name ain't out here just because you just popped up on these apps because you lived 60 years. You know, you have years in the game. You have
Not
treads on your
60
feet.
yet.
You have wore tires. Yes, that's what I'm saying. You know something. And this is one thing I disagree with when people say, don't trust them old niggas, nothing like that. I disagree with that. I love old niggas. Why? Because they've been my age. I haven't been theirs. And as we young men go through things in life, we need y'all older guys to guide us through that shit, because I've never been 59, Dr. Short. But yet I'm coming up on 50. So therefore, as I'm coming up on these journeys into these 50s, I need men like you to guide me through this shit. Like how I'm going through this business trials and certain things. I'm lucky enough, I'm glad I'm old enough that I don't like Jay-Z said, I got 99 problems and a woman ain't one right now. And I'm happy as hell for that. But yet, as me in my pursuit of power, and my pursuit of power and privilege, something that I can leave behind to my generation, the last thing I'm focused of is love right now. You know, when we're men growing up, we don't think about love, marriage, and a baby carriage. We think about power and success. We think about glory so our name can live on. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. And that's what we have to teach these young dudes. No disrespect, but fuck these women. You got to get out here and grind. You got to get out here and hustle, for the simple fact is you being a man, nobody's going to care about you. And nobody's going to give you anything. So you got to get out here and get it for yourself. And you got to be all gas, no brakes. Because the more you bullshit, the more you procrastinate. And procrastinate is the beginning of death. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Brother
This shit is
Twister,
hard out here.
I want to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
You saw that white woman get prosecuted 10 years for her son shooting people and killing those folks in Michigan. Do you agree or disagree that that's an augury or omen for black women if their kids do wrong? If they'll lock a white woman up like that, don't you think that that means that black women are going to get locked up too? You got Biden and Kamala, the mass incarceration king and queen of black people together.
You know, I'm from where she from. When she was out here locking up the black women because the black woman's just trying her best to get a job so she can have an income to get room and board for her children. She locked this one black woman up because the black woman left her kids in the car when she went on an interview to get a job.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Not only that, she's been locking up she is not a black woman. And as you always say, it's the wannabes that are our biggest threat. She is not a black woman, so she goes after black women. You know what I'm saying?
So you agree?
Here, that's all she ever did.
You agree that black women are about to get a beat down from Kamala Harris?
I agree that black women are about to get a wake-up call from Kamala Harris. And that's where I wish my sisters will call her to the table and have a sit down, have a reach out like, nah, you got to answer for this.
They're not. It's never going to happen.
Sister. You are mocking my mother. You're disrespecting my auntie. You are not a black woman.
It's never.
Your mother's born in Indian. Your dad is an Indian born in Jamaica. What's black about you?
Well, what's black about her is the injustice that she did to the guy at Fruitville. And I'm
I said the only thing black about her is that melanated semen she was coming. You know what I mean?
Okay.
She's known as a got 3,000 out here. See, we know about her. And my vets from her time, she was a Gok 3000, and that's how she got where she is right now. That's why my dad would always say. That's why she always come drunk. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so
that's
she's the original. She's the original ghetto gagger.
She's the original God 3000. As we used to call them back in the day, she's a headhunter. You know what I'm saying? She's a headhunter. And without that, she can't get nowhere. And once it's like we used to say, my OGs used to always tell me back in the game, you get more out of a woman not trying to screw her than you do trying to screw her. You know, once you let a woman know that you're not trying to screw, that takes all her power away. That takes all her bullets out her gun, and that takes her spinach away from Papa. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
and that's how it is with some of these, man. You know, that's how it is with some of these things out here. Go
and,
ahead,
and the
Dr.
name
Short.
is Oscar Grant. She's the one that gave the white dude less than a year for murdering Oscar Grant in broad daylight.
Dr. Short, around that time when that happened, that was around the early 2000s. That's when we were having that regentrification boom. That's when Jerry Brown was leaving office out here, and I think he was the DA of California at the time. That's when he was trying to implement those laws we had. So
I thought Jerry Brown was governor in 2003.
Check this out. I don't know exactly when, because I met him. I met Jerry Brown.
I met Jerry Brown April Fool's Day 2003. So I'm just saying.
New Year's.
Okay,
original New Year's, April 1st. But I met him and I told him that he was going to win the governorship because nobody trusted Meg Whitman at the time. You know, she was a bored billionaire who was just trying to run for governorship. And when he was in there eating Mexicali Road, I was like, he about to win the governorship. He's like, you think so? I said, I know so. But yet, you know, he's the architect of regentrification. He's the architect of these sanctuary cities. Oakland was the first sanctuary city in California, not Los Angeles, Oakland. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm going to say this up that Huey Newton and them supported feminism and LGBTQ and the whole internationalist shit of the Panthers. On one hand, yes, on another hand, no. We need to be very careful about intersectionality. Now,
that was that Berkeley in him.
Yeah.
He knew had a little slash of that Berkeley in him, and that's that. But yeah, I don't agree with that. Right. I don't agree with feminism. I don't agree with socialism. I don't agree with power to the, none of that. I agree with power to the black man. Because without us, it's not going to be nothing. We are the fighters, we are the providers, and we are the protectors, and we are the builders. If we can't come together and build, and it's over with. We can't follow. I mean, you said something earlier that I agree with. Juan said it. He said that if a man is following a woman, he would never be happy. And that's 100% true because he would never be able to live to his full ability. If you're living off a woman, if you're living off her income, if you're living off her resources and under her roof, you're confined. You're like a fucking watermelon growing in a square cube. You're going to grow up a square. You're not going to even reach your full potential of what you can be. So that's why we have to teach these young men. We have to teach these young men how to go out to apply for jobs. How to fill. I know one thing for sure. We need to teach them how to fill out applications.
I'll tell you something.
A lot of these young dudes don't know how to do.
The thing about the watermelon being a square is that it's stackable, and therefore that's a real problem. I'm going to have to leave y'all for Bible study, but I have a request, and I need to hear from Chef C about. And Brother Q about Bag X. We'll have to do that at some point. There's got to be that discussion, but I'm going to have to leave people, and so I can read the Christian Quran for all of my hater Islamics out there. I'll read the original Quran. The one that you read from left to right, not right to left. Anyway,
Hey, Dr. Short.
Yes,
you get
sir.
pissed at me when I tell him that she's so concerned about and care so much about it. Why don't you look into the story on Dr. John Henry Clark broke down the whole section upon that religion on how two brothers from Somalia and Ethiopia created that. They don't want to hear that. They don't ever want to hear the origins. People, it's like they say, people have a romance. And once you take the love away, you just put like the intellectual and the knowledge in it. Things that make you go, You know what I'm saying? Dr. Short, man, I don't appreciate you coming in and out, man. You're going to have to start giving us more time, man. You're going to have to tell, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have to start giving more time to this.
Well, no, I gave plenty of time. I've been here 2 hours and 43 minutes. I don't know when.
Give us 3 hours and 55 minutes next time.
Well, we're going to have fun. Look, we need to do another. In fact, we really should have a retrospective on the Black Panthers since you're in Oakland. I watched the whole documentary. I'm going to ask Brother Larry Pinkney because everybody's into Eldridge Cleaver these days. And I'd like for Brother Juan because that's right there in self defense. We need to look at black radicalism and we need to do a pat talk. And I love it. We don't want any women to come, it's going to be men only.
That's how it's supposed to be.
We're gonna have
It's a
a
car
man
table with
only
4 seats. It's
thing,
supposed to be 4 men
and,
sitting there.
and
That's how it's
so
supposed to be.
we're gonna have a discussion on this black movement and look at the stuff. I'm thinking of a nice Black History Month to have a Black History Month discussion and get a panel and see if we can get Dr. Winters and see if we can
We
get
can
like.
do it Saturday. We can do it this Saturday.
Well, no, I'm not gonna do Saturday. That's a holy day. At least the first half of it. I mean, I'm gonna give at least half. God will get half of the day, although the whole day is His. But the first half of the day, we always get together and we pray, Brother Juan and I, because one thing that's also a problem in our community, everything is now female dominated. Used to at least be the one thing held out with little coon pastors, and now they practically have all of that too. Um, I heard about 80% of the people in seminary for the AME church are women. And so, by the way, the more women get in authority in the church, the more the shit goes down. I'm not trying to say women in church is the problem, but women being the only leadership, it's reduced to quality. I don't care if women say that. Women coming to the military is reduced to physical standards, all of that. Everything has to change because men and women are different. It's the same thing in
Dr.
religion.
Short, what they say? Don't they say power is corruptive? So what is
Yes,
it with a woman with power?
she's corrupt. That's why Fannie Willis is buying private dick with public funds. The mayor of New Orleans is buying private dick with public funds. The mayor of D.C., she's buying, I think, private pussy
You
with
know what I
public
say about
funds.
that? That's what happens when they try to play a man's game.
No,
You
no,
may
they're
act
not
like a man
trying.
and
They're
put yourself
playing.
in a man's position.
They're playing a
That's what
man's
happens.
game.
Legit, yeah.
They're playing a
You
man's
know?
game with the strap on. And
Yeah,
in
but they can't
fact,
take that though. They want the power, they want the privilege,
mhm,
but they can't take the pain or the punishment.
that's
You know,
true.
like my dad always said, they want everything until it's time to be treated like a man. But
Right.
my dad always told me anytime a certain individual put themselves in the position as a man,
Mhm.
you treat them as a man. I was always taught that.
You know, that reminds me of a song that my distant cousin had, and I changed the words to it. I just do a little bit of it, and it goes like this: stutter, stutter, stutter instead of brother. Stutter, stutter. There are far too many of you lying. Stutter, stutter, stutter. There are far too many of you trying.
I
Oh,
kind of
we've
like the
got to
other one. I
find
like
a
the other
way.
one.
No, no, no. I like it.
I come up hard, baby, living by the time. I'm a trouble man, baby.
No,
Living
no,
by
no.
the
We're
grind. You know what I
doing.
mean?
So it goes. We've got to find a way to bring some heterosexuality here today.
Gentlemen, it was a privilege and an honor. Until next time, man, hey, let's do this again, man. It's short. I mean, Chef C,
Daughter,
you need to show Dr. Short that documentary, man. He ain't seen it. You need to show it to him. You need to give it to him, Chef C, man, so he can see. And,
Hey, Twiz, you gonna keep doing this every time we broadcast?
Yes, I'm gonna do it because this is Dr. Short.
Here's what I want you to do.
He just said that we need to do a documentary about the Black Panthers in West Oakland. You need.
Ooh, we got to
Here's
find.
what I'm gonna do to you. All right.
I gotta go anyway.
Stop playing with me, Twiz. Yes, he liked it.
Okay, guys, I've got to go. But yes, I changed the words to what's going on to feminism's wrong. Feminism's wrong. Feminism's wrong. Feminism's wrong. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh. Oh, we've got to find a way to bring some masculinity here today. Feminism's wrong. Feminism's wrong. Feminism's wrong. Ooh. I'll do the whole song one day. I'll see y'all. I gotta go. Bye. We'll be back. Until next time. Studs are not the answer. Stud is not the answer.